Treaty now. Treaty year. Treaty year. Let not that song go in vain. Lest we forget, may I take you back to the beginning. The time has come to say fair's fair. It's time to pay the rent. We want our share. This land has had enough. No more mining. No more bad and harmful practices. A place for our people to go back to country. Not land councils there to negotiate for mines and corporations and business development. They're not there for us. They're just another corporation. So let me remind you, for I'm here at Gargamay, the sovereign free Nyangbul state, here making our stand in peace under international common justice. We want the peace and we want the Commonwealth Treaty to come into effect. We're calling all of you, the Commonwealth of Australia, all those who have come with the colonies, to come and treaty with us. We do not wish to treaty with a government, a quasi-government, acting and posing as government, but it's just a corporation with an ABM number. But we want a treaty with you. We want to make a difference and a new change. May I remind you, lest we forget, Australia made an international declaration of its intention to become a sovereign nation when Prime Minister Hughes and his deputy, Sir Joseph Cook, signed the Treaty of Versailles on June 28, 1919. Upon signing this treaty, Australia was granted a Class C, not a Class A. Hold that thought. Class C League of Nations mandate over former German territories in the Pacific. In effect, Papua New Guinea became a colony of Australia, achieving its own independence on 16 September 1975. The League of Nations became a part of international law on the 10th of January 1920 with Article X of the Covenant of the League of Nations granting the sovereignty of each member. So, the significance of Australia joining the League of Nations as a foundation member has never been addressed in Australia before. Strangely, only one book has ever examined the question of Australia's independence. That is a very, very important one. So, we examine the question of Australia's independence, written by W.J. Hudson and M.P. Sharp in 1988, Australia's Independence, printed by Melbourne University Press, on public record. As both were members of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade at this time of authorship and had access to the British parliamentary papers, I found it most interesting that they have avoided any mention of these papers in their books. The conclusion that Australia became an independent nation via the Statute of Westminster in 1931 flies in the face of contradictory evidence within the above-mentioned papers, readily available historical fact. How can a foreign-based power called Britain of the Westminster system grant sovereignty over someone's sovereign space? These lands were occupied. We were here. It was not a barren wasteland, Captain Cook. We were here, occupying these lands of our mothers. There is no terra nullius. Everything is null and void. So how can this be when there's been a breach? So where is the independence? It's not legal. It's null and void. So Prime Minister Hughes addressed the Commonwealth Parliament on the 10th of September 1919, Australia has now entered into the family of nations on a footing of equality. What equality? We are still here. We can't even go home. Even the Land Council, who's a corporation acting and posing as that they're there for us, are not there for us. They are there for them. So where is the equality? The Commonwealth of Australia, the world, our people, of humanity, of the human race, the great League of Nations, we call upon you. Where is the equality? And may we start this equality not by the so-called Australian Government Corporation, but the Commonwealth of Australia. So we're asking you, the people, the Commonwealth of Australia, not the Australian Government Corporation, we're asking you, the people, will you walk with us? Will you treaty with us? Will you come and be a part of the most ancientest culture of humanity? First people on earth, your grandparents. Will you walk with us? And will you activate and pledge to this sacred agreement to bring upon this treaty with my people and these lands, these sacred lands, with the Commonwealth of Australia, you the people, we the people, the law, the land, the common. So, Australia has been born into a blood sacrifice. Why? Because with the Nyangbul lands, from sunrise to Ngumbarl lands in sunset, who has really responded in action of sorry towards the massacres and the bloodshed of our people? It was an act of war. It was an act of war. It was an act of war. And we want peace for our children. We cannot blindly submit to any policy which may involve us in war. The war's gone on far enough with my people of these great southern lands. My Aboriginal people, the first ancient human beings on the planet. It has been a direct act of war and breach of their United Nations peace treaties. This is a far cry from declaration of war to stop war. When will the British colonies of Australia come and be a part of peace? Because that is what we want. The British colony of Australia by George V of the United Kingdom in 1914. I ask you, Queen Elizabeth, uphold your oath, uphold God's law. You swore an oath to protect the people, and I thought we were part of that too. We would never invade your sovereign lands, kill and massacre your people, and take your lands for your own personal gain. The gross giving earnings of all the colonies per centum was to be given since occupation of the colonies here to the Aboriginal Protector Board. Where is it? Where is it? administrated by white administrators. We haven't seen that. We haven't drawn on it. I think that pretty much sends the Australian government into bankruptcy. Trading insolvent is illegal and a breach of your law under the Corporations Act. So Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the Charter states, all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territory, integrity, or political independence of any state or in any other manner inconsistent with the purpose of the United Nations. So pretty much, as an independent state, I'm sitting here in Gargamay, in Nyangbul, sovereign free state of independence. So from that, we should be protected within the international common law of justice through the United Nations of threat or force against us and our territories, right? In the view of the above, the historical evidence for Australia's independence by 10th of January 1920, when the League of Nations became a part of international law, is overwhelming. When the evidence is reinforced with the contents of the Charter of the United Nations, the continued usage of any legislation that owes its very legitimacy to the Parliament of an acknowledgement a foreign power, cannot be supported by either legal option or indeed historical evidence. So can I state that again? When this evidence is reinforced with the contents of the Charter of the United Nations, the continued usage of any legislation that owes its very legitimacy to the Parliament of an acknowledgement, foreign-based power, you being British subjects of the colonies of Britain within the Westminster system, that being you, the foreign-based power, cannot be supported by either legal option or indeed historical evidence. You see it? I therefore have come to the conclusion that the current legal and political system in use in Australia and its states and territories has no basis in law. Following discussions with members of the British government relating to the letters patent for the Governor-General, and the Governor just got a duty of care to uphold his oath in office. He's sitting for the Queen and right as the Governor-General. He has to administer the Principal Act. The Principal Act is to do the right thing and to protect us and bring this treaty along in this country. So the letters patent for the Governor-General and the state governors, I find these documents no longer have any authority. Indeed, the Queen of the United Kingdom is excluded from any position of power in Australia. We already have our Queen, all right? We're still here. We're still here. You're speaking to one of them. So, no longer have any authority. The Queen of the United Kingdom is excluded from any position of power in Australia by the United Nations Charter and is excluded under UK law from the issue of letters patent to other than a British subject. A letters patent must refer to an action to be taken with regards to the British citizen. We're not British citizens. All right? We're sovereign. We're sovereign originals. First, Aboriginal, absolute original. The first two letters of the alphabet, original. So, letters patent must be referred to as an action to be taken with regards to the British citizens. The Immigrant Act, 1972, UK defines Australian citizens as aliens. Can I read that again? This is really important for you, people. We care about you too. Letters patent must refer to an action to be taken with regards to British citizens. The Immigrant Act 1972 UK defines Australian citizens as aliens. The Governor-General letters patent is a comedy of errors. It is a big joke, and we've had enough. We have had enough of war crimes against us, war crimes against humanity. It is wrong, and it must stop now. We are greeted in the name of the Queen of Australia, who suddenly becomes the Queen of the United Kingdom in the next paragraph. How did that happen? We are the matriarchal bloodlines in this country. So, how did that happen? By the Queen of Australia, who suddenly becomes the Queen of the United Kingdom in the next paragraph of the letters patent. The Queen that gives instructions to the Governor-General with reference to the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900 UK. Here, the UK Act of 1900s is the Constitution, not our Constitution, a foreign-based Constitution who is in breach of international treaty, international common law of justice, is in breach of all those treaties that I have talked about here within the United Nations, within the League of Nations, to be in equal footing, to be fair, advance Australia fair. What's so fair about that? My people are still poor. My people are suffering. They're dying at age 30. It's not right. Our children are being taken away from us. We're being told to speak a foreign-based language when we want to speak our tongue. So how does this work? This queen, this is the Queen of Australia. Where's this queen? We haven't seen him. Have you seen him? Seen this queen? Well, this queen that gives instructions to the Governor-General with reference to the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900 UK, here we have a clear breach of Article 2, Paragraph 1 of the United Nations Charter. Under both UK and international law, the Queen is a British citizen and not from here. And she is not on my genealogy. And she is not on Lois's genealogy. State governors are in worse positions, as their authority comes from the late Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom. Regardless of the validity of the Commonwealth of Australia's Constitution Act 1900 UK, if the authority of the Governor-General and the state governors is invalid, then so is the entire political and legal system of the government here in Australia. When advised that the War Crimes Commission was taking an interest, I called them in Geneva. Under the 1947 Geneva Convention, they are empowered to look into cases here in Australia, where it is alleged the law of a foreign country was forced against a citizen or member of state of the United Nations. And we are members of the United Nations. As they perceive that only the judiciary can actually enforce the law, the judiciary becomes their target. The group has already placed cases before them, which they are currently investigating. If found guilty, we have found them guilty. Guilty as all. I think that's pretty much Canon 12. Canon 12 in the canon law, in which the bar guide of a private firm makes their presumption and findings on. Canon 11, so we as the government, really, the original people, could turn the effect of Canon 10 as executing as the real sovereigns and the real government of this land, executing these on tour, taking back all of our lands. Because where's your bill of sale? Our old people never signed or sold our lands to you. So that would effect then go to Canon 11, which would then we would then bring upon incompetent. So why the Australian government is incompetent is because they are illegal and unlawful here in our country, our estates. That is why. And they should be charged for war crimes against all my people who have been massacred. Massacred. When do we have peace? When do we have peace? When do we have our turn? Or do you just take it all? Because that's all we've seen from them. They just continued to put crimes against my people and their people in this country, pollute our waters, our sacred waters, destroy our fertile ground and earth, and just put holes and leave your toxic waste dump from your minings. There's so much abandoned mines in this country that has not been cleaned up. It is a shame, and it's a breach, and it's a crime, and that is wrong. And we want law and order. We want law and order. We shall have law and order. So it's time for a summary. The summary is, a QC states the obvious when he asks me how could a colony now acknowledged by all world nations to be a sovereign nation retain exactly the same legal and political system it enjoys as a colony without any change whatsoever to the basis for law. This point alone requires an answer. And we want an answer. We want an answer now. The High Court has already answered with regards to the position held by treaties signed by the Commonwealth Government. In the TO case of 1994, ordinary people have the rights to expect government officials to consider Australia's international obligation. Remember that. Even if those obligations are not reflected in specific acts of Parliament, the rights recognized in international treaties are an implied limit on exclusive process. My advice is to do in any case, sign die, sign off, that challenges the authority of letters patent. Under no circumstances hear a case that challenges the validity of a state or the federal constitution. It is the politicians that are using us all as pawns without them having to face the music. These matters are a concern to politicians. You know that, politicians. Let them sort out these problems and accept any inherent risk themselves. That is why we, the law, the land, the people, are asking you, the Commonwealth of Australia, of the British colonies, to come and join us and walk with us and activate in these great lands the Commonwealth Treaty of Humanity. So may I leave you with this, good people of the earth, the human family. Article 36 of the Statutes of International Law court of justice is the correct reference for you to refuse or hear a matter when an international treaty is cited as a defense. So treaty now, treaty now, treaty now. These lands were occupied. I am Jingki, Kerrianne of the Cox and Kelly family of Western Australia, Sunset Dreaming, Ngumbarl and Nyangbul clan. Mabu Mabu.
Now to the Honourable Malcolm Turnbull, a courtesy notice. We want all Australians, we want fair go for all of us. So we the people, the land, the law, declare peace and freedom from all corporations, entities and false gods. We the people are dedicated to the remediation of what is the absolute truth. Our children will be safe from harm. Our waters will not be poisoned and will be kept restored in their natural pristine state. Our soil will become and remain fertile. We will have a sustainable village. We will teach our children the absolute truth in their education that will be sourced by us, their creator. Our energy and our gifts will be fair trade, exchange, circle of life. I've also noted that, and these are my findings. Note, the Crimes Act. These acts have been breached. The Crimes Act 1900, the Slavery Abolition Act 1833, Children and Young Persons Care and Protection Act 1998, Australian Human Rights Act 2011, Geneva Convention 1949, the Treaty of Versailles, World War I, 1919, Peace Treaty, World War II, February 1947, Hague Convention, 1899, 1907, International Common Law of Justice, September 2012, Constitution of the Commonwealth of Australia, Section 109, United Nations Human Rights. These are the breaches and these are my findings. Come on, you people, let's walk together and straighten out the wrongs that have been done to all the people in this country and on this planet. I am Lois of the Cook family, Janguna Pelican Mother. I'm from Gagamay, Nyangbul, Sovereign Free State. Here we stand free at Gagamay. Come and join us to activate the Commonwealth Treaty of Humanity. Stand here with us now in this present moment so that our people from this land can have justice, and let us talk about a treaty that concerns us all.